Thank you for joining today's installment of the 2020 Beating the Odds virtual series. Today you will hear from LGBTQIA and same-gender loving students as they talk about their journeys to and through college. I'm really excited to introduce you to some of my friends. Amber Whittington is brilliant. She's a social justice activist. She's a creative genius, force to be reckoned with, and she's also the host of the YouTube series Amber's Closet. Gabe Thomas is currently a sophomore at Chapman University in my home state of Southern California. And Josh Nudelman is a public engagement and community outreach manager for Mrs. Obama's Reach Higher initiative. Leading the White House initiative on educational excellence for African Americans is one of the greatest pleasures and opportunities I've had over the course of my lifetime. My name is David Johns, and I currently lead the National Black Justice Coalition. We're the nation's only civil rights organization at the intersections of racial equity and LGBTQIA plus equality. Let's get into our first question.
What are some tips that you have for incoming students to kind of find that space, especially on campus? Also, as a person of color, finding that space where it is inclusive of immigrants and as POCs, not just, I feel like a lot of time if you go to like a PWI, a lot of the queer spaces are run by white LGBTQ folks. So that's just a question that I kind of want to throw out.
Since college is like a new opportunity, one, you don't lose that old community because now they're just not going to be in your face every second, but you still, we have so many ways to connect to each other now through the internet, and like we're so lucky to grow up in this generation because I remember when I was little, my parents would be like, oh, always say like, when you move, when you move to college, you're going to lose your friends. But like in this generation, you're not really, there's going to be like a few connections that fade, but you're not really losing anybody. I mean, all you have to do is...
And some of them you should lose.
Some of them get dropped. But you're going to see the people on your Instagram feed, and it's just so easy to just say hi and be like, hey, what you doing? I see you thriving. And then you just keep moving about your day. But the way I found my communities was trying out as much as I could. I just remember I was lucky enough where we had like an orientation week. And sure, colleges are doing some kind of thing online where they're going to flip it to have something where you can like look at club fairs and stuff like that, where you should just try to pick up every flyer because you never know the person that's going to pick up the flyer right behind you might be your next best friend. So it's like, it's so important to do as much as you can in as much time as you can, but like don't overfill your plate also.
With everything that the quarantine has caused, we're all so bored all the time, right? And lots of us have lots of time on our hands. And that's not at all how we wanted the summer to be, but the advantages are that it's allowed us, especially like at Dartmouth, to reach out to each other and like form a community during the summer and get to talk and stuff. And definitely, especially among LGBT people, that's a really great thing to be able to do because even before we show up to college, we already know so many other people in the community, and like you're making friends and making those connections with people who understand and who have a similar experience and who can help you out if you're having a difficult day. So that's definitely something really great to just have friends who understand, right, in the same way, because it's their life too, right?
Yeah, and to help you appreciate that, like, you're not weird, and you're not the only one in the history of people to ever have to go through, like, life being different than everybody else. Which is important because we realize at some point that every one of us is different some way, and we're more alike than we're not. And so I hope and want to say thank you again to the team at Reach Higher and everyone who has allowed for this to exist so that people who might not know that we exist as an incredibly diverse and beautifully diverse community, that we exist and that there are others like us out there in the world.
I wanted to know, like, I've been in a couple group chats with some LGBT people at my school, and a lot of us have been talking. Some people are staying home because of our policies. Like, half of our classes are online, so some people just didn't think it was worth it to go to campus. So some people are going to be at home, maybe in unaccepting households. And then I know one person in one of our group chats said that she had connected with her roommate, her like dorm mate, and she was unaccepting towards her sexuality. So what would your guys' advice be for someone who has to live in an unaccepting environment when they're starting college?
So to the roommate thing, I think it's very important that who your friend is goes and talks to that RA. Like, out of there, because I will tell you, in college, your dorm is supposed to be 1,000% your safe space. Like, and if you can't feel comfortable going to sleep, then it's going to make everything more stressful. So that situation is 1,000% when you just need to fully go to the RA and lay it out for them. And then if they don't want to do something about it, then you have to go to the next person in charge. Like, because your dorm is your safe space. I could only imagine how bad it would be to not feel okay in the place where you're supposed to lay down and put your head to sleep at night, because the dorm's a new environment, first of all. So it's supposed to be this adjustment period, and like you're supposed to try to gradually get safe there. Mind you, mine was gross, but it was safe at the same time. But so I just think at home, you need to make sure they stay connected with everyone and let them know, not to have that isolated feeling of being alone, and just keep looking out for them, FaceTime them as much as you can, because I know that not everyone has the means to go back to campus no matter what. So if they do have to be home, let them know they're not home alone in that space.
One thing we know based on data is that feeling isolated and depressed leads to suicidality, both thoughts about it, attempts, and completion. Again, and that affects young people your age in acute ways. And so we want to make sure that people feel connected, and that we ask them, are they okay? And that we hold space for them when they're not okay, because that's also allowed. And also want to highlight that every university should have an ombuds person. Historically, they'd be called an ombudsman, but we want to be inclusive. But that person is responsible for ensuring that everyone on campus, in particular students, are safe in every regard. And so whether or not you're worried about physical safety, intimate partner violence, or the kind of violence that might come from someone being homophobic, transphobic, practicing transmisogynoir, or otherwise being hateful, you should address that with the ombuds person so that you're not alone.
To add in exactly what you just said, David, that they have a responsibility, and that your friend should feel empowered that y'all are supposed to take care of me. That's literally what the energy should be. Is like, I am coming to this campus to further my education. I shouldn't have to worry about any of this. So it's on them. And I think a lot of us, because we fight so many battles to become who we are and be okay with our queerness, that we kind of accept, some of these things that happen to us that make it a little bit harder. But no, this is literally, there are laws put in place. And I'm gonna paste one of my videos in here, not to watch the video, but in the description, there are so many links to everything. Like, if you ever feel uncomfortable, bullied at school, or just want to say, I'm about to call the ACLU or land illegal, y'all have that. The availability is there. If there's something that is weird at your school, you need to tell people that are literally fighting for these rights for us, to make sure that we feel good at school, we feel good in our public spaces, or that we can't get fired from our jobs just for being LGBT. There are things put in place to make it so that we feel okay.
I think the thing to do is also rely on your community. Talk to the community, because I remember during my freshman year, I actually requested to move rooms because I was having issues with my roommate and I didn't feel safe. And from my experience, it took a few days for that roommate change to go through. And so because I didn't feel safe, I used my community, and I slept on the couch of one of my friend's apartments. I slept on the floor of another friend's dorm room. And so really just using that community to tell people you're not alone. And because if you reach your hand out, somebody will grab it.
What's the one piece of advice when you think about all that we've discussed and all that we haven't discussed? What's the one piece of advice that each of you would offer to LGBTQ students who show up in beautifully diverse ways, and thinking about, again, the importance of post-secondary degrees, credentials, and certificates?
Yeah, I just think that you are great, and that your journey is your own specific journey, and that whatever that may be, and your quest to happiness is going to be different from everybody else's. And so everybody uses social media differently. And I know I'll look on Insta, see people's picture and be like, why am I not like that? But that's not who you are. We are all different, and we're all going at our own pace. And so just be happy with yourself.
Stay amazing, stay proud, and stay woke. I just want people to remember that you are amazing. You are amazing for how you are, and all the different things about you just make you even more beautiful.
Just know that you are loved and appreciated by your friends. And if you feel like you don't got your friends, then like just know you're loved and appreciated by me and the community, and everyone loves you. And take your laundry out on time, because there's a problem in college of people leaving their laundry in too long, and that makes me angry.